Hey guys, another month, another book talk. I can't believe November is over. That was a crazy month for me. So I don't have too many books today, but I think we will still enjoy talking about them. So let's get started. So the first book I've read is a book I've read in German. This is Wolfram Fleischhauer, Der gestohlene Abend. And if I remember correctly, yeah, he's from Germany. I don't know whether this has been translated, but it means something like The Stolen Evening, something like that. I will research it, and if I find a translation, I will put it somewhere. So this book is about Matthias. Matthias is a student in America, like an exchange student. He studies literature, I think, and he got into this very famous university for literature. So that's the main thing that this whole university is about. They have very famous professors and stuff like that. So he is super lucky to be there. Now, this is not a thriller, but more like a criminal novel, like a little bit of a crime novel. But then it's really nothing at all. It's very hard to put into words what this book is about. So I will try that very quickly because I don't even know whether you can find this book. But in this whole institute that he's in, the Literature Institute, there is one very famous woman, and everything about her is a little bit strange. Like, you have to be exceptional to be her student, and Matthias really wants that, and he gets to know a guy that actually is like the right hand of that very famous professor woman, and things happen from there. It's very hard to tell what this is really about. It's about how the past can still influence the present, how there are certain thoughts and don't know how to say, yeah, just certain thoughts that are even a little bit dangerous, and there are still Nazis everywhere. That's kind of the story of this. So it's very well written. I really enjoyed the writing style. I think that is the biggest, strongest point of this book, which is rare for me to say about a German author, because I have read German authors that were super rubbish, but this one is very well written. The beginning is very interesting. You really get into his world, into that university in America, which is obviously something that I know nothing about, so it was very interesting to read that. And I really enjoyed the beginning. There's a little bit of love in there and a little bit of intrigue, and then in the middle of the book something completely strange happens. You're like, what? I didn't see that coming. And from there the complete story changes into more of a mystery, and it gets a little bit more interesting and has more of that crime aspect, but not in a super thrilling way. Like, there's not like tons of people dying or anything like that, but it still keeps you reading because you want to know what is going on in this university. So in the end, you don't really know much more than in the beginning, which I thought was the weakest point of the story. It just ends and you're like, what? That's it? Like, what? So yeah, the book in general was really good, but the ending fell flat for me, and that's always sad because, you know, the book started so good. Why couldn't it end amazingly and be like a 4.5 star read? So I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I was really impressed, and this is an author that I will check out again. So he's called Wolfram Fleischhauer. So the next books I've read, you all probably know the Grisha books, like Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Risen. So I will say a couple of words to each book, obviously not spoiling anything, even though I think I'm the last person who read these. So Shadow and Bone I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I'm not a young adult reader, and you will hear that throughout my words now, so don't blame me for that. It's just not my main genre, and I don't really enjoy it all the time. But I was in the mood to read that, and I did. So I really liked the first book. It's very interesting, you get to know the world, which is fun, but I was still disappointed because everyone acts like the world in this is like super amazing. I didn't see that. I didn't see why we needed all the Russia references. I mean, obviously it's different from other things we know, but other than that, there was no real reason behind it. Like, it could be anything, it could be Chinese, Russian, whatever, it doesn't matter. So the world was good, but it was not as amazing as I thought. Other than that, I am not a fan of the main character at all. Like, what's her name? Alina. She's okay in the first book. I loved the Darkling, and I did not expect to love him that much. I have to be honest, I didn't know a lot going into the story because that's what I usually do. I've only seen it in a lot of videos. People tell everyone that it's amazing, that the world is so great, and that it has something to do with like weird special powers. So I didn't know what was happening in this book. I was not spoiled, and I loved it. The twist broke my heart into pieces. That's the 4-star rating, you know. It comes from this from the twist in this book, and it completely broke my heart, and I was eager to continue with the book. What I really liked is that the book itself is kind of closed. You get an ending, like it's not like, okay, and now I have to read the next book. No, you can read this on its own, and it would be okay. It would not be like the complete ending to things, but it would be like, okay, yeah, I read that and now I can read something else. So I like that. You can definitely feel that this series is meant to be a 3-book series. So sometimes you get the feeling that the first book tells a complete story, and then they're like, oh, let's do 2 more books or 3 more books, like with the Unmind series, and they feel completely different. That's not the case with this series, which I liked. So now on to the second book. As I said, I was eager to read this, and I gave this one, let me see, I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. In this book, Alina got very, very annoying. Her whole love situation was just something I was not interested in, but half a point was saved by the new character we got in this book, and I fell in love with him like so much. He is so cute, and yeah, that's why I still enjoyed this book. Other than that, this book was like a in-between book. I don't like these. I want all the books of the series to be great. I don't need like a book in the middle. I don't know, I just don't enjoy that, but this definitely was one. I thought Alina's point of view is very boring. She has 3 interesting males around her, and I would have loved to read from any of those points of views, but we only get Alina. And I never thought I would say that I want a book to be like multiple point of views, because I usually don't like that. But with this book it would have been so amazing. I would have loved to know what the Darkling's all about, what he thinks, how he justifies what he does, and we get a little bit of that, but just not enough for me. And yeah, as I said, the new character, he stole my heart. That was really broken in the first book. And I was basically just turning the pages to read his name. Yeah, so Alina, boring as hell, and I just didn't want to read from her point of view anymore. So now we come to the last book. I obviously marathoned the series because that's what I do. I always read them like completely through. I always wait until the whole series is complete before I buy the books. So I read Ruin and Risen. I gave this book 3.5 stars again because I thought that the story was more interesting again, even though there is a little bit of a twist in it and I just didn't understand it at first. I was like, wait, let's read that again. It was just a little bit confusing, like it wasn't that clear and bam as in the first book. So yeah, the ending was very YA. Like, we have to find a very uncomplicated ending and everyone has to be happy in the end. And that was what I felt, and I hate those endings. I hate the Mockingjay book, but what it does at the end is kind of real. This book is not. There's no way this book could end like it did. So I did not like that. I still enjoyed it, as I said. Still, I have the same thing. I would have loved to see a point of view from the Darkling. I would have loved to see any other point of view, because Alina is just so annoying. I just couldn't bear it anymore. So I was really happy when I was finished with this. And then there is something that happens to my favorite character that was introduced in the second book. Just so disappointing. I don't know. I feel like what happened to him, no, didn't like that. So all in all, I would give this series like a 3.5 star rating. I wouldn't necessarily say you have to read it, only if it's like your favorite genre. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. I really wanted to like this a lot more. There have been YA books I've loved, like Unwind, which was a clear 5-star read for me, but this one was just a little bit meh most of the time. I will probably read the other 2 books that are in the Grisha world, because I think they will be better, they will be more interesting for me at least. What I loved about these books though, apart from the covers, which are gorgeous, are the little epilogue and prologue things. They're very cool. I really like those. And I had moments when I wished that the whole book was written like that, because they were really cool and different. So I think I've talked way too long about this all, but that's all I wanted to say for now. Let me know what you thought about the Grisha books, because I think many people have read them and many people have an opinion on them. And yeah, we'll see what happens in December. So we'll talk to you next month, or sooner if you like beauty videos as well. So see you soon. Bye!